Welcome back to another episode of Rob Built. I'm your host, Rob, and this is my business partner,
Michael Kane.
Michael Kane, also known as Clint Crow.
AKA.
That's right, Aka. Today we're going to be answering your most burning short-term rental Airbnb real estate empire question. Clint is the COO of the Rob Built, a real estate empire that you know and love, and you may recognize him from other videos.
Tickled the Ivories.
Tickled the Ivories. When I quit my job, he played a little intro music. Actually, honestly, my favorite intro we've ever done on the channel. And go.
I think I have to quit. And they were like, oh, that's it? Yeah, you should have quit a long time ago. And that was when
Do you have to do that, like, right now?
Sorry.
Let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. My algorithm is trending with Airbnb bust. Thoughts on backlash about the fees? You know, I'm so tired of all the little babies out there that are like, oh, Airbnb's charging an extra $7 for a service charge. So do hotels. They just hide it in their price. Or if you go to like Expedia or Booking.com, I just did this like a couple of weeks ago. In the breakdown, like they hide where you can like click and expand it, but they hide that super well. But a lot of the times if you go to a hotel and you click down, guess what? It says occupancy tax, transient tax, resort fee in Las Vegas.
A fee?
Yeah, a fee. It's so stupid. I'm just so, and like, guys, you pay the same fees for hotels. They just either bake it into the price, which is fine. I can see why you're less mad about that. Or it's there, you just didn't click all the different options on the book menu.
And those fees are there for our protection, right? That's how they subsidize their insurance costs. So if something goes wrong at the property, you're covered.
I mean, I tell you what, you're mad at me for Airbnb charging the fee, but whenever Ticketmaster charges you a $99 convenience fee for a $37 ticket, where's the TikTok hate on that? It's fine. Whatever. If you don't like it, don't book. Ultimately.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just go book at a hotel if you really want to.
This kind of leans into the whole Airbnbs are more expensive than hotels argument, which I think is ridiculous because
they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
And per capita, you know, if you're getting 6 people in an Airbnb versus 2 or 4 in a hotel room, I think it is probably pretty.
It's fine.
Equitable?
It is equitable. If you think about our Scottsdale property, we are going to be booking between $1,700 and $2,200 a night in peak season for 20 people. If you try to book hotels for 20 people, it would easily cost at least that, but probably more, except you're not in an insane 6,000 square foot Spanish mansion on 5 acres.
Yeah, exactly.
So just they're apples to oranges in my mind. But that's fine. If you want to stay at a hotel, go stay at it. I would rather you not stay at my Airbnb because people who compare
Don't see the value in
Airbnb,
it.
or compare Airbnbs to hotels, expect the Airbnb to be perfect, and then they're like, excuse me,
there's a leaf in the pool.
There's a single leaf in the pool. I want $4,000 back.
If you're watching this, that's you.
What minimum cash-on-cash return would you consider for a new construction Airbnb?
For a new construction, since you won't be cash flowing for quite some time.
14 to 18 months at least, probably.
Yeah, exactly. We generally aim a little higher, 33, 50%, something like that. For a purchase, a cash flowing property immediately, we would take a little lower because you'll be generating revenue instantly. So usually 15, 20.
Yeah, and that's mostly because if you're gonna wait 14 to 18 months to build a new construction, then in our opinion, you're doing a lot of work to do that, so the return should be equitable to the amount of time and effort that goes into a new construction.
Exactly. And you might be able to cash out refi
and even get your money back.
Financing. Yeah, get your money back quick.
With Casa Conejo, I built that for $165,000. It actually appraised for $222,000, and I was able to cash out 75% of its appraised value, which was around $165,000. So I actually got that house for free. Totally worth the 14 months that it took to build. Is an Airbnb a good first investment, or should I start with long-term rentals for more stability?
That's a tough question. That's pretty open. Well, yeah, it depends on
nice
it depends on your own risk appetite, things like that. We're not CPAs. Obviously, you should invest in whatever you feel comfortable with, but it is for some people and it isn't for others. I feel like you can't just blanket say yes.
Yes, I can.
Right?
Sign up for Host Camp. Go book a free call with my team. We'll teach you how to do it. We'll teach you how to squash long-term rental returns. Look, ultimately, right now with interest rates and everything going on, I would say it's going to be pretty tough to squeak out a pretty decent return on long-term rentals. But short-term rentals, the returns have gone down a little bit, obviously, because interest rates are anywhere from 6.5% to 7.5%. But that just means that maybe we're not getting the 30, 40, 50% returns that we were. Now we're seeing closer to, 15 to 25%. That's still significantly better than what most long-term rentals are producing right now, which were 6 to 10% before interest rates started going up. So now I don't even know how you could cash flow on long-term rentals.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty hairy out there for those guys.
Yeah.
It is an outrage. That's all.
a lot of arguments could be made for getting into a long-term rental, but if you want high cash flow and the ability to go and stay at your place and visit it and use it as a vacation home, then to me, short-term rentals seem to be a pretty obvious bet. What do you think about cash out refis? So there's this concept called return on equity, and that basically means that when you have equity sitting in your home, you shouldn't just let it sit there, because if you're not making a return on it, you're just letting money effectively sit there and lose its value. So let's say that you have a home that you bought for $500,000 and it's now worth $1 million. You have $500,000 in equity. So could you keep that in equity? Sure, it adds to your net worth, but it's not doing anything for you until you sell the home. So let's say you do a cash out refi and you take 75% of that $500,000 in equity that you have. That's $375,000 that you can then use to go and invest and buy another property that then allows you to make a return on that money. Whereas if you didn't do that, it would just be sitting there doing nothing for you.
Right. You only have a marginal interest rate on that debt, hopefully. If you
That's
can
right.
pay 4% rate on something that makes you 7%, why wouldn't you do that?
Exactly. And right now I'm in this conundrum. My interest rate on my home is 3.25%. I locked that in many years ago. I have a balance on it, I think, of $720. It's worth $1.3 million, and I haven't wanted to do a cash out refi because I didn't want to lose my 3.25% because it'll probably go up to 6.5. And the reason I'm kind of getting over that is because, yes, it's 3% more in interest. However, I'm going to make 75% of $500,000, about $375,000 to $400,000 that I can cash out to go and buy me a property that will hopefully get me a return of 20%, which is 17% more than the 3% that I'm sacrificing on the rate adjustment.
That could be very attractive for an investor, for example. If they get to return their capital an expedited rate and the property is still cash flowing, they might be willing to take a little bit of the lower return given the higher interest rate associated with the cash out to regain their capital immediately.
I'm about to join your 12-month mentorship program. Why do you believe yours is superior? You can confirm that it actually says that? Mm-hmm. Right, okay, I didn't write this question. Nick Vitolo. Listen, I will always say this, all right? You can learn how to Airbnb, how to run short-term rentals for free on my YouTube channel, all right? There's so much information on there on the Bigger Pockets podcast. The difference you get between the free YouTube content that I give and Host Camp is a much more elevated approach to the hand-holding and the accountability that we have in our calls. We have over 100 calls every single year comprised of design master classes. We have calls with realtors that teach you how to put together an offer, calls with loan officers that teach you the art of underwriting, comping coaches that help you analyze deals, automation coaches that help you automate your Airbnb business. And then on top of that, there's a community of over 1,000 host campers that are actively working to help each other better their businesses and help each other scale. So I often hear people compare my YouTube channel to Host Camp, but they really aren't the same. Really what I think sets us apart is the actual coaching and the hand-holding through every step of the process. That's specifically what sets Host Camp apart, and the accountability that you get from the 1,000 people in the group working to make your Airbnb business awesome. That's Host Camp. So if you're interested in enrolling in that, consider booking a free call with my team over at hostcamp.com. You can also click the link in the description down below, and let me teach you. Do you pay someone weekly to take out trash from a house?
Depends on the specific property and the regulations. So if it's on an HOA, most likely properties.
A few moments later.
So I guess the real answer to that question is yes.
You could have just led that, yeah.
Yes is the answer.
So yeah, this will depend on the property. In Scottsdale, we have a service, like a trash valet, if you will. You take it in every single week. And then in Gatlinburg, for example, it's actually pretty common for cleaners to take the trash with them between every single turnover. Scared about furnishing my Airbnb with fancier, unique stuff? Do guests destroy/steal things?
I feel like in the early stages of Airbnb, people respected the place a lot more because they felt like it was more your home. You were going into someone's actual home.
Sure.
And so they were tiptoeing around. Whereas nowadays, a lot of these hosts will, go to IKEA to furnish their places. And I get the appeal of that because you're probably going to have to replace your furniture a lot more often than you think you would. But that being said, I think it's worth it to splurge on furnishings.
Definitely. Yeah. I would say that I have not filed a claim against guests. We looked at this. We did a video on it not too long ago. I have only filed like 1 or 2 in the past year. And then in the past month, I've filed 3. They broke my toilet, man. They broke like the lid on the toilet. Not that that's a fancy piece of furniture or relevant to this question, but I was like, how did they do that? And then they denied it. They said, sorry, it was like that. And I was like, toilets don't just crack in half. So I charged them $350, and actually Airbnb paid it out rather quickly.
See, and the other thing is when we have an issue with a guest, 9 times out of 10 they just pay it.
Yeah, they usually don't fight it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much. But with guesty damage protection, you can get all your stuff covered.
I get 20% of that shilling.
Do you you possess any international short-term rentals?
Not
No.
yet.
Not yet. So do you want to own an international short-term rental?
Oh, I would love to.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not want to.
Why not?
Because we're busy enough.
In America.
American girls and American guys.
Just logistically, I'm like, we already communicating with someone in English is tough enough. Add a language barrier, add a time zone barrier, add legal barriers and financing barriers. I don't see it.
Don't crush my dream of owning the Downton Abbey house.
That's fine.
Do this for
that.
an
I would
extra
do it for that specific house when we become billionaires.
And the whole reason we got into Airbnb in the beginning was to have these places that we could go travel to and enjoy, right? Don't lose sight of the dream.
Oh, that's true. Bro.
So what's-
Cheers, man. That was the good old days. Now we're all jaded and broken. Do A-frames do well on Airbnb?
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, they do.
That's it. All right, next question.
one.
Our tiny A-frame kills it. It's off-grid. It's a special experience for people, but you know,
A-frames
it-
just have so much curb appeal too. You're clicking through the listings and you see an A-frame, it always catches my eye at least.
And then our A-frame, that's like the chopped A-frame in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an A-frame where you like chop top.
It's a
It's
trapezoid.
it's a chop top A-frame. That one did like 12 grand last month or something.
Oh, yeah.
Mortgage on it's like $2,200.
It was a good month.
Yeah, it was
Summer
a
was
good one.
strong.
Do you put air mattresses in the listing to get extra beds and heads, or is it not worth it? What do you guys say
So
here?
normally we will not count an air mattress in the head count of a listing, but if we have a pull-out couch or just a regular couch and we allow people to sleep on that with the head count, then we'll throw an air mattress in there usually just in case.
Just
people-
so,
they have
yeah.
an option.
Yeah, like if we can sleep 10 people, but that means that everybody has to share a bed,
Right.
then we'll throw in an air mattress just in case, like, not everyone's a couple and people can, sacrifice floor space so that they can just sleep on an uncomfortable air mattress.
Exactly.
Thoughts on welcome baskets for Airbnbs? We
don't do them.
Yeah, we don't do them. Yeah.
It's a nice touch maybe, but I think unnecessary.
Call me old school, but I like to just provide a good old-fashioned experience. Yeah, no, we don't do it. I mean, I genuinely believe if you have a nice place, although nowadays I do want to actually start offering them for new listings for the first 10 guests so that we can just guarantee the 5-star review, because we just got a 4-star review from a lady that
Loved it.
loved it and broke our toilet paper holder. 4 stars. 4 stars on your first 3 listing. Like if you get a 5-star, a 5-star, and a 4-star, that basically makes your rating like a 4.6 or
4.6.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really annoying. So we just have to do whatever we need to do to guarantee a 5-star review for the first like 10 guests. Probably like the first 20. So
Ideally.
we should probably, I would like to start. How accurate is AirDNA?
That's a good one too. I think AirDNA is fairly accurate. I think
Yeah.
you can beat AirDNA, but you also have to be really aware of the surrounding listings because, for example, if you have a close to a beach or something, AirDNA will pull like aggregate data from the surrounding area. So if you're a block off the beach, for example, or a block off the lake, we've noticed that AirDNA tends to overestimate revenues in that sense, right?
Yeah, and the reason why we feel we can beat AirDNA is because it aggregates the best and the worst. So theoretically, when they give you that average, it's being brought down by the worst
Right.
listings.
50% of those listings are above that number.
Right, and we typically end up being in the top 50%. I would hope. You never
so.
know. You never know these days. No, we usually are, and so because of that, I feel like it's rare that we have a number less than AirDNA.
Yeah, I agree. But it's a good number to base your projections on because if you can do it better than that and that made sense for your model, then
Yeah, if
do it.
your model shows a decent return with AirDNA numbers.
If you come in and smoke the competition, you'll be fine.
Wait, where did Clint go? No worries, I've got one final question here that definitely wasn't planted. What is HostCon and why do you keep talking about it? Well, Rob Built on Instagram. HostCon is my first ever short-term rental conference that I'm throwing in Houston, Texas this January 8th through 10th. Wow, I did that in one take. Uh-oh, but then I just stopped it to talk about it. I'm excited to be putting on what I consider to be the #1 short-term rental conference ever in existence of all time. And here's the other thing. It's my birthday today, so you kind of have to go. Really though, I'm super pumped because it's gonna be the first opportunity for the Rob Mob on YouTube and my host campers and many other Airbnb operators and short-term rental investors to all be in a room together to network, to learn from some of the greatest minds in the Airbnb industry. We've got Kai Andrew who's gonna be talking about about land hacking, Amy Majuri, who's gonna come in and show you how to raise millions of dollars in private capital to fund your Airbnb business, Heather Blankenship, who's gonna come in and show you how to scale your portfolio from 0 to hundreds via RV parks and upscale glamp sites. I put my heart and soul into this conference and have done my best to make it unlike any other short-term rental event ever, because we're also gonna have a game show with cash prizes. So if you wanna meet me and rub elbows with some really brilliant real estate investors, then click the link in the description down below. You can also go to hostcon.com. And spoiler alert, if you use promo code RAWBUILT, you, my audience, get a very special discount because you're very special and you've made my dreams come true, and I appreciate that. And also, it's my birthday, so if you don't go, you're dead to me. All right, bye.